Blessings, blessings. I pray all is well with everyone out there. I am embedded in the heart of God, and I come to you in the name of the Lord. I come to you in His name. So today is August 30th of 2025, and I want to talk about a dream I had today that I feel, I don't know, it just needs to be shared because I think it's onto something. So I'm going to get started with what happened in this dream. There was other things that are happening in this dream, but what is being highlighted is this particular portion of the dream. So in this dream, I am looking at these cross country runners. But what was peculiar about these cross country runners that I took notice to was that they were all running at the same pace, which is kind of unlikely because cross country runners, they all run at different speeds and at a different pace than others. It's usually not them running together in a group, but I'm looking at this. They were running in a group just together in formation, and they were running rather fast, and they were outside in what looked like in the woods. They were just running really fast, and I looked at them and I was like, why are they running so fast? Like, what's wrong? And as soon as I said that, I looked, and lo and behold, there was a lion out there. Hence is why they were running together, and they were running at a fast pace, all together in sync. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh. And so um I was going through the woods, and there happened to be some open houses that were being showcased. So I went into one of the open houses that was being showcased. And when I went in there, I was like, y'all need to close this down, shut the doors and stuff like that. And they was like, why? And I was like, look out the window. And sure enough, when they looked out the window, they saw a lion. And I think they also saw a cheetah. And it was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, exactly. And so they were like, well, we need to close up. We don't need to have an open house. Kind of like saying that in a way to me, like, okay, you need to go because we're getting ready to lock up. I could sense that's what they were meaning, that they didn't verbalize or communicate. And so I'm like, well, maybe I should just go. And they was like, yeah, you should. Not being cognizant and aware of the dangerous situation out there is like they didn't care. They didn't care at all. But then I was like, no, I'm not going out there. I had to bring up to them, do you see what's out there? It's like they didn't really care, which reminds me of a scripture that the love of the world will wax cold in people. So, anyways, I was able to stay, and I think they started shedding everything. But also, when I was in the house, I saw in the house an animal that was not supposed to be in the house, but was supposed to be out in natural habitat. It wasn't one of the threatening, dangerous animals, but it was an animal that is not very common to see in the house. So when I saw that, I just thought that that was very, very weird. And I think I just started going through the house, and that's where it ended. Now, I find it very peculiar. Let's get into a few things. Now, why was I shown out of all runners? It could have been sprint runners, track runners, stuff like that. But I saw cross country runners, which are the only runners that runs out in nature, out in the woods and stuff like that, really in the elements of nature outside versus sprint runners and track runners. They're pretty much on a track running in these lines. So I find it very peculiar that cross country runners were being highlighted. And the reason why I find that very peculiar is because I feel like the Lord is using that as a metaphor to mean something else. Now, what's very interesting is that I didn't know, but when I was looking up cross runners to find the picture to be displayed while talking about this dream, I discovered that cross country runners usually run in the fall. So that is pinpointing, either God is using that as a play on words or is pinpointing towards when something is going to happen in the fall. Or is it speaking across the country is going to take a great fall? You see what I mean? That's why I was specifically shown cross country runners. And then let's get into the behavior of these animals that are not in their natural habitat. Anytime you see animals that are not in their natural habitat and they're outside of that and now they're amongst humans, that is pointing or highlighting to something going on in the earth, or something is about to happen on the earth, because animals are aware of this and get these little alerts before we actually do. They'll know about natural disasters or anything that's going on the earth before we do, right? So when they know that something is going on in the earth, you will see their behavior be very peculiar, which they were acting very peculiar. They were not supposed to be habitating around humans. They're supposed to be in the wild. So for them to be amongst humans, and then when I was looking and viewing at their behavior, they knew that they were not where they were supposed to be, but they were trying to get away from something, to take cover or to get away from something and go hide elsewhere because they could sense that something was coming. And the way they didn't look like they wanted to attack anyone. They looked just as confused as humans were looking at, as to why they were amongst humans. Now, of course, they're wild animals. So if, let's just say, a human comes close by it, is going that human is going to get mauled, because after all, it is a wild beast. It is a wild animal. So that's instinctive for it to eat a human or attack a human, right? But in this dream, I just saw them looking confused and out of place and out of their element, but they were just trying to survive, trying to get away from what was in their natural habitat, trying to take cover, trying to hide. And then when I went into that house and saw that animal inside the house, that also further highlights that these animals are acting strange and not really in their element and outside of where they're supposed to be. Something that's pointing towards something is probably about to happen. Now, the Bible Everything that we want to know of what's to come is in the Bible. We can't see anything new or prophesy anything new. Jesus already told us about that, in his word already, of these natural disasters and hardships and all of these things coming on the earth. We can't see anything new. Jesus already told us about this. So we can't prophesy anything new. But what we can do in this day and age kind of point towards the direction of the time frame, especially if us who are seers and dreamers seeing these things, and then God using things as a metaphor to play on words to kind of give a time frame, which again, he used cross country runners, which they run in the fall. So it's either pointing towards a time frame, fall, or across the country, there's going to be a great fall. You see what I mean there? See what I did there? So it's something is about to happen, and then it's almost fall. It's about to be fall. We don't have too much longer before fall comes into play. So I feel like that's giving a time frame, because why did God highlight these cross country runners? Is something to that. And then the behavior of the animals. Again, they get alerted with what's going on with the earth before us humans do. We see the aftermath, or we see something coming, but they can see something before it happens. They can sense something before it happens. Hence is why their behavior, it was very strange and peculiar. That's why they were acting different, trying to hide from something that they know is about to happen. I don't know. I feel like this dream is onto something, and God was trying to speak something in this dream. I don't know. That's why we should always, as the word declares us to do, and as Jesus instructed us to always watch and pray, be vigilant, be aware, be alert, watch and pray. So that way we can discern and know the times, and discern and know the seasons. When we walk in sync with God, with Christ, we will know these things. So I feel like this dream was pointing towards something. It means something. So I don't know if something's going to happen in the fall, or across the country there's going to be a great fall. But I know that God is speaking something. So I wanted to share this dream with you all. May you guys continuously stay prayed up, read your word, watch and pray, and you will know everything that you need to know. He will inform you. Read his word, be in sync with him. All right. So I'm going to leave this up on the replay. Until the next time, you guys be blessed.